Pull your lap bar down, keep your hands inside because we're headed to the middle of fun. Most of the time on this show, we talk about roller coasters, sky rides, and log flumes, but not every amusement had flashy midway lights or screaming kids with sticky hands. Some amusements were built for adults, glittering places where the thrill came not from gravity, but from glamour, gambling, and maybe getting away with something you're not supposed to. And no place captured that spirit better than Galveston's Balinese Room. It was the island's most notorious funhouse for grown-ups, part nightclub, part illegal casino, and all legend. Perched over the Gulf of Mexico on a pier that seemed to stretch into another world. Think of it as an amusement park without rides, where the roller coaster was Sinatra's voice, the Ferris wheel was a roulette wheel, and the log flume was a tall, sweating margarita. To understand the Balinese Room, you've got to understand Galveston itself. In the early 20th century, the island was known as the Free State of Galveston. The nickname wasn't just a bit of local pride, it meant laws were more like loose suggestions. Bootlegging, gambling, brothels, they all thrived, and the town leaned into its reputation as a place where you could find whatever fun you wanted. Running much of this world were the Maceo brothers, Sam and Rosario. Sicilian immigrants turned nightlife impresarios. The Maceos had a knack for building clubs that blended elegance with mischief. They understood that people didn't just want to drink, they wanted to feel like they were part of something forbidden, something glamorous, something fun. Their ultimate creation, well, it was the Balinese Room. The Balinese Room began as a small cafe in the 90s called Chop Suey, which became Maceo's Grotto later on, and then a place called Su Jin. Then in 1942, with the war making Asian-themed venues unpopular, the brothers reinvented the space. They expanded the pier to 600 feet and transformed it into a lush South Seas paradise. We're talking bamboo, rattan, velvet, mirrors, and a name that suggested faraway islands, the Balinese Room. Getting there was half the fun. You had to walk a long pier that jutted into the Gulf. By design, it gave employees plenty of warning when the Texas Rangers came to raid. Dealers would collapse tables, dice would vanish into safes, and roulette wheels disappeared into hidden compartments. By the time the lawmen burst through the doors, the room looked like nothing more than a fancy supper club. A band might even be playing The Eyes of Texas or Upon You just to rub it in. Locals called this walkway the Ranger's Run. Imagine being on a log flume where the splashdown isn't water, but a full casino vanishing before your eyes. Inside, the Balinese Room sparkled. Velvet booths hugged the walls. Cocktail waitresses glided through smoke-filled air and the scent of salt water mixed with cigars and perfume. You could order champagne, a plate of seafood, and if you knew where to look, a seat at the blackjack table. And the entertainment? Pure gold. Frank Sinatra crooned there, Bob Hope cracked jokes there, and Peggy Lee sang torch songs there. George Burns, Sophia Tucker, the Marx Brothers, they all grace the stage. Howard Hughes was known to slip inside, sometimes chasing oil deals, sometimes chasing dates. This wasn't just a Texas nightclub. It was Galveston's answer to Vegas before Vegas was even Vegas. What made the Balinese Room unforgettable wasn't just the talent or the drinks. It was the elaborate tricks that kept the law at bay. The trap doors hid cards and dice. Wall safes swallowed cash. Dealers practiced sleight of hand like that of a magician. Everything was designed to flip in an instant. One moment it was casino, the next it was dinner and dancing. The Texas Rangers knew what was happening, but they could never quite catch it in the act. The sheriff at the time, he even joked that he wouldn't raid the place because he wasn't a member. And then there's the story of the margarita. Some say Santos Cruz invented it here in 1948 for Peggy Lee. Historians dispute it, but the idea of the world's most famous cocktail was born on this pier just kind of adds to the myth. But every ride has its drop. By the 1950s, pressure was building. The governor ordered a crackdown on Galveston's vice industry. The Rangers were relentless, and in May of 1957, they finally nailed the Balinese Room. An undercover operation caught gambling in progress, and the club's casino era, came to an end. Without the thrill of the tables, the sparkle dimmed. The Balinese limped along as a nightclub, but it was never quite the same. Galveston's wide open reputation faded and the island shifted back towards family fun. The building endured, though. For decades, the pier stood like a ghost. Hurricanes tried to take it. Carla, Alicia, but man, it held on. Musicians still sang about it. Locals still swapped stories. Easy Top immortalized it in 1975 with their song Balinese. Then came a brief revival in 2001 with live music, food, and a touch of old school glamour. For a few years, it felt like the ride was back in motion. But in September 2008, Hurricane Ike roared in. The storm obliterated the Balinese Room, leaving nothing but broken pilings in the surf. After surviving decades of storms, lawmen, and politics, the club finally fell to the sea. Today, the Balinese Room exists only in memory. Old photographs, songs, and stories keep it alive. For Galveston, it was more than a nightclub. It was a symbol of an era when the island dared to be wild. For us, it's a reminder that amusement doesn't always mean roller coasters or Ferris wheels. Sometimes the thrill comes from walking along a pier towards a hidden casino, sipping a cocktail invented just for you, and knowing that the law may be storming in at any second. Like Astroworld, the Balinese Room was a place where fun came in a heartbeat of danger. Both are gone now, swept away, one by demolition and the other by sea. But both live on in stories people still tell. Balinese Room was never a kids' park. It was an amusement park for adults, one built on music, glamour, and the gamble of getting caught. Long gone, but never forgotten. Stay safe, stay nostalgic, and keep your heart in the middle of fun.